Hello, and welcome back to Belly of the Cat God, a grim dark game played using the Morkborg system set in the frozen smoking wastes, where a bunch of ruthless scum find their way inside the strange temple of the Eternal Sphinx. I'm very pleased to welcome you back as well to TTRPG. This is an incredible channel that is focused on inclusivity. We use safety tools in all of our games, and we are very excited to bring you this grim, dark horror game, having gone through lines and veils with our incredible cast here. Once again, I'm going to have us do a quick introduction around the table. I'll call you out in order and tell us as well the name of the character that you're playing and just a quick snippet about them. And then we will return to our story, beginning with Matt.
Hello, beautiful wonderful people. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I am Matt, Casual Krill on all things. You can find me primarily on The Adamless, which is a sci-fi show that I GM the actual play for, and also in the primary editor of the podcasted version, which are two different versions because one of them is like an actual play just like this wonderful thing. And another one, I take it and I take out all the mechanics talk, and then I add in music and pew-pews. I'm playing Volo today. Hopefully, not next time, or most of the way through the session. Hopefully, this absolutely pathetic grimace worm tongue guy is gonna bite the bullet today. But yes, that is me.
Fantastic. Next, let's go to Nikki.
Hello there, I'm Nikki, and you can find me on social media as NixNat1, number one, where I occasionally post or stream on Twitch when I feel like it. I am playing the walking mushroom scientist slash doctor in quotation marks, who is a bit obsessed with experimenting on things that move and extracting their insides for medicinal purposes. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. Let's go with Amanda next.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I am the tech writer here at TTRPG. You can find me on Twitter at Pandacabra. I am playing an occult herb master who's kind of like a myconologist, really obsessed with mushrooms, exiled to the wastelands of the frozen north, I believe. His name's Graft. Absolutely disgusting sort of swamp of a person, I would say, but what if they weren't so much exiled as they maybe wanted to be here to spread the word of the mushroom?
Fascinating conundrum. And finally, when you're ready, Pooja.
Hello, everybody. I'm Pooja. You can find me on Twitter at Pooja, at Poojabarwaki, everywhere else. And I'm here playing an absolutely disgusting, crusty, crispy, flaky. I mean, good for pastry, horrible for humans. Heretical priest named Kratar. They're awful. I delight in making them awful, and I subject Volo to torture. It's great. But yes, I cannot wait to see what other awful things this gnarly crew gets up to.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that. And I am your storyteller, your game master for this session. My name is Alex. I use he, him, and they, them pronouns, and I can be found on Twitter at alder_mancy, as well as many other places around the internet. But we can talk more about that at the very end. Before we get into our session tonight, I do want to let our audience and, of course, our players know once again that the content warnings for this show are pretty thick. You might see such content as body horror, cannibalism, gore, possibility of character death, strong possibility, since we are playing Morkborg, and this is definitely in the genre of old school role playing games. Extreme temperatures like freezing, dismemberment, occult and religious themes, gut score, all that stuff as we've gone over, and possible harm to animals, but in a ritualistic, thematic way. We're not going to be kicking any sweet little house cats, but, whatever monsters this cat god has in store, we are excited to meet them.
We can kick each other, right?
Yes.
Cool.
As far as we've all agreed, that is definitely on the
I'm
table.
mostly looking at Volo.
Default Sphinx
Volo,
is a
I don't
PvP
think
enabled
count-
zone.
Yeah, yeah. Volo, I don't think counts as a creature or a person. Just a beast. That's it.
You guys are definitely more creature shaped, I would say. Well, as we return to this dark and dying world, we have left behind the howling winds of the wastes for a stranger location. You've made your way from the mouth of this cave that you'd entered after crawling up the tongue of a massive stone beast, fighting your way past the cursed goblins of the wine barrels and gathering some interesting supplies for yourself down the throat of this cave and its slick stone walls, finding yourself in a circular room with a burbling fountain and a set of 3 glasses with unique properties when drank. But so far, each of you having tested your perseverance and your constitution against these waters, have instead had your attention drawn to the very center of this room, the small feline statue atop this fountain with its dark ruby eyes, and looking closer, found the symbol upon it that reminded you of a long lost deity hearing in your minds as strange feelings and howls swell around you. These voices calling out to Abast, Sharp of Claw, the cat deity, and realizing you are inside its temple. The rest of your caravan you've been traveling with through these exiled lands have reluctantly stationed themselves at the very entrance to this cave, perhaps willing to chance their way inside only if one or more of you were to fall. But we are not concerned with their fates yet. Rather, the fates of our 4 strange characters, Graft, Turg, Volo, and Kritar, our herbalists, our priests. You 4, again, find yourself in this circular room, covered in mirrors. Those howls die away. You may lift your hands from the statue, although the eyes seemed to glow for a moment. As far as you can tell, there is no more movement from it.
Volo is like shying away from the mirrors, not in a like fearful way, but the real image of them reflected back never captures who they believe that they are. So it's always like hideous to look at their own reflection.
Actually, could you give me a presence test of 12, Volo?
Oh, I would love to. Again, I have 0 presence, so that's a 17 though. I'm rolling annoyingly well in this game.
Do you have any knowledge, Volo, of strange religious locations? Have you done any studies?
I have these like makeshift blasphemous tattoos, but ultimately I even through that, I don't think Volo knows much past like very surface level about religion and religious practices. They mainly put on these blasphemous tattoos in an automatic act of rebellion when they realized they could get no power from these structures.
Fantastic. So you have not heard what comes to mind as you were looking around. You've not heard these words through any religious significance, but I think rather whispered in the mouths of the treasure hunters and relic seekers that you have found yourself among as you spent a little bit of time in these terrible frozen wastes. You sort of shying away from your reflection in the mirror, still feeling the swell of whatever that water did to you, that minute amount of good luck you've managed to hold on to, that portent of protection. You note that even with your reflection being different than you would hope, as you look into the mirrors around you, there are slight changes from the person that you've come to know. Maybe a little bit less crust or less wrinkles under the eyes. Your eye bags faded in one of these reflections, your hands more steady, or your hair curled instead of pressed flat against your head just from having a hood on up at all times to shield against the cold. The words that come to mind, you've heard of something called the Fountain of Youth, but this isn't it. That wouldn't make sense. Rather, I think what some relic seekers call the fountain of lesser youth, something that perhaps only restores some elements of that. Yes, Qatar.
How greasy is this reflection?
I would say it is slightly less greasy.
Oh,
Yes.
not just dripping anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Has
These.
our,
Go.
now,
You go.
I was gonna say, has our environment changed at all since what happened? Okay.
What were you saying, Vala?
These mirrors wish to fool us into thinking that life is worth resetting. Cutting a few years off so we can relive the awfulness of life once again. Is it one specific mirror that's doing this, or is it all of them?
All of them in different ways as you look at
very
your
good.
reflection. Yeah.
Kratar is gonna step closer to the mirrors and look and see. Why bother? We'll just end up here again, and that's if we're unlucky.
Speak for yourselves. Perhaps we are meant to be eternal.
You like what you see?
Oh, I love what I see.
I can see many applications of this for my research.
Use is immortality of life is nothing but pain. You will
Prolonged
doom
suffering.
yourself. Yes, to suffer. You'll doom yourself to suffer and nothing more.
Well, from the ground I came from to the ground I shall return.
But not if you're immortal. You shall suffer roaming this world forever.
I pluck one of the mushrooms growing from my arm. Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, to think I could die in no way that matters, and then I eat it.
You crunch down on this mushroom. You do see in the reflection, instead of being a fully grown mushroom, there's just a spore that you place into your mouth. But as you are all looking around at the edges of these mirrors, you see no continuation, no exit. If anyone else would like to make a presence roll to see if they can spy anything, let me know if you're looking for something.
Kratar is looking for the trick. They don't trust this place. Nothing good comes of something that likes to show you a better life, and so they don't believe it. So they want to look for the trick.
All right. Will you give me a presence test of 12?
I sure will. Oh, well, that's perfect because I rolled an 11 on the die and I got a +2, so 13.
Perfect. That is enough. You, perhaps more naturally suspicious than Folo, going around looking at where these mirrors meet their edges, the fountain where the water pours down and up and through that hole, and just sort of pressing on these mirrors. They're definitely solid, but you do think there might be some kind of thin light that's coming from behind them that's illuminating this room. You cannot see, there's no torches or anything to make the room as bright as it was, but you did see the reflection sort of flickering up the stone of this throat. So it seems as though between the thin cracks that maybe there's some kind of light behind all of these mirrors that's causing this illuminated reflection.
With a chuckle, Kratar is going to pull out a small wagon.
just
Oh,
just
yeah,
a wagon
sure.
from the pocket.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have a wagon.
We can say you've got a little sort of ramshackle thing on your back that you can unfold and snap it out.
Well, it's not a basically, I think we talked about like how we were gonna have like backpacks or something. Essentially, Kratar doesn't have actual power, so it's either gonna be the hilt of their short sword, or it's going to be some hard surface, and he's going to smash in a mirror.
Okay. This for a melee, let's say, give me a test of 10 with your strength.
Strength of -1.
Perfect.
That's a 2.
Okay. Well, you did not crit, so you just kind of bounce this off of one of the mirrors. You see a crack appear on it, but you don't break through it.
What are you doing? Assaulting the walls.
There's a light back there.
I
Wants to get to it. Unless you prefer to be stuck in this purgatory of lights.
I'm gonna go towards the seam and I will remove my sword from my hole in my palm and I will jimmy it and try to break.
Okay. Also give me a test of 10 using your strength.
All right. Oh, natural 20.
Oh, nice. Good job.
Fantastic.
Wow.
So you usually will do twice the damage. This is mostly testing to see if you will actually be able to break this mirror. So I'm going to say that in breaking it, even though you are shattering glass everywhere, no one is going to get hurt or take damage since you've done this so efficiently. You smash through one of these mirrors, and then you all hear this simultaneous crash, 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 as echoing out from the one that you've broken through, all of the mirrors simultaneously shatter. As if in slow motion, you see the glass shards falling and then have to blink against a sudden influx of bright light, not dissimilar to the way the sun rising against the snow will send reflections into your eyes, that forced brightness that you try as you might cannot escape if you're out on the plains these frozen wastes have to offer. But this is a warm light, again, a warmer light than you have felt in what feels like years. A sun, not a cold sun, but a warm sun breaking through clouds. And as you look around, this fountain stands on a stone dais of some kind, but surrounding you entirely is a garden. A lush green garden with hedges raised in neat rows around you, grass underneath your feet. And as you look up toward the sky, you can still see Behind you, where stone sort of falls down towards this dais, you can see the outside of this tunnel, but around you is sky. Soft blue sky.
Wait, so we can still see the cave behind us, but it just ends in and turns into sky above.
Yes.
Another illusion. I'm gonna try to look around and I will poke one of these hedges to see if my hands go through it or not.
Okay. Well, you place your hand up against it, and your hand does not go through it. It does give slightly underneath. Doesn't appear to be thorny at all. You don't take any damage from doing it. It is well kept, in fact.
So it does feel like an actual foliage.
Yes.
Well, what is life but if not an illusion of joy? We'll walk into the grass. The like outside section will just like walk off into it.
Mm-hmm. You step into the grass. It's spongy underfoot.
As you walk, Kratar will say, "Joy, where did you find that illusion?"
Most less intelligent beings, they believe that there is joy to be had in this life and ignore the suffering of all around us.
Oh, well, I would say don't be so mean to yourself, but proceed.
Perhaps. Oh,
One other rule that I might remind you guys of, since we are learning Morkborg for the first time, is that if you would like, there are two ways of taking a rest as a group. You can choose to either catch your breath or take a night's rest. And if you choose to catch your breath, you heal a d4 HP. When you take a night's sleep, you heal d6 HP. So if any of you would like to catch your breath at any point, just let me know and you can heal up a little bit.
all right.
Is there a exhaustion mechanic or something that we have an issue if we don't rest overnight?
No.
Well, I will let Kratar is only down 1 HP, so really it's up to you. Although, do our omens get refreshed per session or per sleep?
Let me check that. I believe your omens you get them again over a 6-hour period. So let me see.
I mean to brag, but I am still at full HP with my 1.
Yeah, you'd be dead if you weren't.
I sure hope you are. Yes. When you are depleted, when you are out of omens, you regain that many omens after resting at least 6 hours.
Okay. So we would need a quote unquote a sleep to get those back.
Yes.
How is everybody doing on omens?
I got one more.
I used mine last session, but if you want to continue, I'm totally cool with that.
No, I am down to wait. I will say that Volo will do nothing but bellyache the whole time, but I'm fine with it. If people wanna,
I think we can rest up and get our omens back, because honestly, they're just really fun to use. So
they are quite fun to use. I also think that faced with genuine warmth and grass for the first time, maybe your weary bodies are screaming at you to collapse into it.
Okay. Yeah. I will take a rest, but I will not like it. I am not experiencing joy. This is not pleasant.
Fantastic.
The roots so you guys that make up my legs. Yeah.
Sitting down for a rest here?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to be standing. I don't sit. My roots just dig into the soil for the first time and absorb the warmth and nutrients that have been denied. More spores float around me as I just stand there like a statue.
Yeah, I don't know if like happy is an emotion that exists in Morkborg, but Graft is close to feeling something that is akin to joy.
There's a whisper of it, something far away, but think of it.
Mhm.
almost
so-
immediately destroyed as Volo takes off his like flaking leather boots and his just gross ass fucking like blackened
Claws.
with dirt feet. Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
Clawed feet are just like hanging out in the same dirt that you're sitting in.
Ugh.
Okay, so each of you, I believe, should have a class designated die. I'm
Hmm.
not sure if it says that, but I can find those as well. We have our occult herb master,
Hmm.
which uses I think a D8. Sorry, begins with D2. So you, my occult herb masters, will you two roll a D2? So flip a coin or roll a D4 and half it, and then you'll gain back that many omens.
Okay. I'm guessing it doesn't go above your maximum, right?
Yes, doesn't go above your maximum.
Now,
Oh,
this
I
is
got all of them
interesting.
back.
You say, like regenerate those omens. I have 3. If I
Which is-
rolled a 1, would it go down to 1?
No.
Or does it go up? We love that. Yes, resting is very good for me.
Yes. What was your class again, Bolo?
I'm a forlorn philosopher. I have a D4 in my.
Okay, yes. Then you roll a D4 and you will regain that many omen.
I only rolled a 1, but I already had 3, so I'm at my max now,
Back
which
up.
is perfect.
Okay. Fantastic. And then Kritar, what was your class?
I'm a heretical priest.
Mystical priest. Fantastic. And I think
I think
I
it's a
forget.
D4. That's
I
what it
think it's
says
a
in
D4.
parentheses next to my number of omens.
Yes. Then will you roll a D4 and regain that many?
Woo. All right, up to full.
Nice. Let's
Dang.
go. Everyone
Okay.
rolled max on their omens. That's very fun.
Yeah.
They are basically the only thing that keeps you going in this dark world.
Volo is alive but for the grace of omens.
I also get to do something quite fun, which is you guys are taking a rest. So you all know that the world is ending. Everyone knows that. And according to the hallowed calendar of Netherubal, the Psalms of the Apocalypse, there are different ways that the world might end from day to day. So these miseries, they come each dawn, and you are resting sort of through the night. You can also each roll a d6 to heal up if you would like, if you're down any health, since you are taking a rest. And I will roll a d66, which means I roll 2d6, and I put the numbers next to each other.
I
Okay.
rolled 3 on the d6, but I only needed 1 HP, so I'm up to full.
Okay. We have rolled Psalm 3:2. In the heart of Sarkosh, fog and dusk shall breathe beneath the waking trees. That which was hewed by man shall now hew in its turn. Oh, isn't that perfect? Isn't that lovely? So,
Yep.
as you finish whatever rest you've taken here under the warm glow of a seemingly ever-present sun here in this strange garden, the hedges around you seem a little bit perhaps thornier than they were before. A soft creeping mist begins to issue out from under them. That's it.
It seems we've overstayed our welcome. We should go.
I was just going to say, out of character, Alex, I don't trust you.
This is a game mechanic.
That's
A game mechanic.
No, I think you're going to betray us.
I have
Actually,
a
I agree.
question. So on our character sheets, there is a thing called miseries. Do we mark?
What?
Ooh.
There is, yeah.
Where?
There's 7 right at the bottom of our thing. There are 7 check boxes with miseries.
Then
Oh,
yes,
oh,
I believe you mark
on
a
roll
misery.
20. I didn't see
Yeah,
it
my apologies.
on
So
my PDF. Yeah.
Yes, I think you do mark a misery.
I recall that after you said it because I remember reading it and being like, it has a bit if you're doing a mini series, and then I realized that I just can't read. So,
Well, this is a mini series of misery.
that's why
so.
I thought it was fun. I was going to ask Alex at the beginning of the game, like, do we mark the first in the mini series box? And then glad I caught myself on that.
Yeah. Basically, depending on how soon it is until the world is ending, which is up to me, I roll a die to determine if a misery happens, and then I roll for what the misery is. So I've said that a misery happens. On the 7th misery, the world ends. So there's a chance for a misery to happen, and then if there are 7 of them, the world ends. Which isn't that a delightful game mechanic?
That's so beautiful. I love it so much.
That's amazing.
So I did have a question. So
yes,
just as a reminder, our powers were on the right-hand side of the top right column, right? And so
yes,
we can use them our presence plus D4 times a day. So it's a new day now, right?
Yes, it is a new day now. So if you do have any powers, let me make sure that I find the rules for powers in here. Powers are kind of a unique thing that you can use a certain number of times per day. I believe as a priest, you do have access to them.
I have the whole stones thing that I did last time.
Yes. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. While I'm looking for that, I do want to know, are you guys doing anything having finished your rest?
I'm gathering some of the odd plants around. Using my hand kind of like a scythe, and just kind of, and into the pack it goes.
Most of what you gather is grass, or at least a form of grass. It seems to be green, and it does smell pleasant. If you remember what grass smells like, you may add some clippings to your inventory.
Does it have nutritional value?
More so than the snow you've eaten when you've been really desperate.
Okay, cool. Breakfast grass soup.
I miss the taste of green.
It's grass tea, but it's something. All right, yes. So there are a few called powers that are known in this world. They're usually found written in scrolls. If you do have powers, you choose from your available scrolls, and you will roll your presence plus a d4 every morning to determine how many times you may use powers that day. So if you have access to powers, you want to roll a d4 and then add the number of your presence.
Okay, so I do. Kratar has a power which is called. I'll tell y'all. It's called Whispers Past the Gate, which means I can ask 3 questions to a deceased creature.
Ooh, that's cool.
Ooh.
And I rolled a d4 plus my presence, and I got 4. So I have that 4 times a day. So that's a total of 12
Excellent,
questions
yes.
to dead creatures.
I pull
You
out
do have
the
4
goblin
uses.
head. I collect it.
What do we want to ask it?
Would you
Ask
like
it
to
where the
do it?
fountain is that Volo saw in the mirror.
They weren't even a leader. I doubt anyone with that much power would tell their subordinates anything. I wouldn't.
All paths must be explored.
Alright, let's talk to the gobbo.
Would you like to speak to your...
I
This
would like to speak to my gobbo. I think I have to roll a...
Okay, yes. So what form is your scroll in?
I think... I'm sorry in advance. I think Kratar is going to take some... Who was injured in the fight? Kratar was. I think Kratar has dried blood on them.
Yes.
They're going to take some of this soup, this grass soup, mix it in with some of the dry blood to create a little paste. And then they're going to draw a blasphemous, copy one of the blasphemous tattoos that both Qatar and Volo have. Probably the most obviously blasphemous one and just draw it on the goblin's head.
Fabulous. All right, will you roll a presence test of 12?
I sure will. Ooh, that is an 11 on the die again. Wow, this die, I need to like fire it or something. Plus 2, so that's 13.
That is very good. A power failing can be quite catastrophic.
Ooh.
So you may ask 3 questions to a deceased creature as you activate this power that you've gained from glancing in your research or time upon this cursed earth. The scroll you have faced and memorized. The eyes of this creature open. You can see in that hollow gaze, with strange growths already coming through the sockets from the workings of Turing and Graft, there is some kind of awareness, but it doesn't seem the same hatred that you had faced in the cave above. What do you ask?
I think the first question is the one that Turg wanted to know, which is where is the fountain that this slimy turd saw in the mirror?
This was the vision
Mhm.
you had seen?
Was it in a mirror or was it a vision? I don't remember, Bolo.
The fountain was in the vision. Right? I don't think it was in the mirror. Am I
Oh, okay.
incorrect?
Sorry, I thought it was a mirror.
I would.
Yes,
Volo would have still said it. No, that's fine. Would have told everyone.
Mm.
The goblin's mouth kind of hangs open, and it doesn't move as it speaks. It's also hard to understand. I think, Kratar, you are the only one who understands what it's saying because it comes out in a series of grunts and groans to the other 3. But basically, you get the impression many arteries flow, but deeper into the gut is where they flow to.
Qatar will translate this to the group and say, "Oh, we'll tell the group what he heard, and then say, many arteries means if we keep going long enough, we should find the belly of this beast, the heart of this temple."
You have
And
2
then
more.
I think as a aside, Qatar will say, you know, the temple kicked me out for doing this. They would like to leave what's dead, but what is the purpose of death if it cannot be used and twisted? If anybody has ideas or questions, please let me know. We're just gonna be gross and bumbling.
I don't think so.
I don't
Yeah,
have any
yeah, right.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
I
anything
kind
yet.
of, I kind of want to ask, like, who put the goblin in the barrel in the first place?
All right. Wait, did you say? Can you give me a reminder about what goblin wine is?
As far as you all know, goblin wine is a sort of rare delicacy where it's a kind of play on the mythos of goblins, which is that if you ever fight a goblin, you're cursed to turn into one. So goblin wine is supposedly an exquisite delicacy that is so, exquisitely alcoholic that you'll turn into a goblin upon tasting it.
Oh, okay.
Or like you'll act like a monster if you drink too much, is
Fair enough. In which case, Kurtar will be like, who decided to marinate you at your brethren?
It was a blindfolded man with no arms. I believe by the name of Ingib Jorg.
Tell us to the group.
Would this
Oh.
individual still be here in this cave?
I think Qatar will say that. I think Qatar has a feeling that by passing the veil, this goblin skull, which is talking to us, has knowledge beyond, access to knowledge beyond what it may have known while alive. And
A fascinating assumption.
You know, you got to be a priest, right? You got to believe in
Yeah.
some shit. Well, I think Qatar's like, yes, beyond the veil is where all the power and knowledge lies. And some of us are too unfortunate to have to be held back from there. And Qatar will say, "Oh God, I forgot the mix of sounds you just said. The name was."
You wanted to ask if this armless man. is
Yeah,
still
I
here.
just couldn't remember the name. So Qatar
Yes.
will just say, does this armless man still, can he still be found within this temple?
The brewer walks, visits, and trades within the realm of the Eternal Sphinx, but perhaps not now.
Okay.
This does also strike a resonant chord with you. It makes sense, considering to fight a goblin would be certain death for a curse, that perhaps an armless man might in some ways be immune to it.
Yeah, share that with the class. What happens to the gobbo now that the three questions are over?
The jaw just sort of hangs limply there, and the eyes don't close, but you see more of the spores grow over it. The blood that you've placed upon the skull flakes away.
Man, this is just out of character. What if we just carried the skull around and asked it questions the whole time?
Yeah, I love
I
Hamlet,
think
to be
we
honest,
absolutely
so-
should.
Yeah, this is basically our
Horatio.
yeah, Yorick.
Yorick,
This is
yeah.
Yorick.
No! Ah!
You failed
My
yourself.
theatre kid degree is going to get taken away, gang. We have
Wow.
to lie
Wait,
about
wait.
it.
Alas,
you
poor
fucked up
Volo.
Hamlet?
Huh?
Love
You fucked up
Hamlet.
Hamlet?
I fucked up literally arguably the most known one.
I'm clutching the table, trying not to tell you guys about a bit I have. I have a long-standing bit about being an English major and never having read Hamlet. But the thing is, I actually have read Hamlet. So I tell everyone that I haven't read Hamlet, but I actually have. But then the thing is that I keep doing the bit and I say, no, I'm lying. I actually haven't read Hamlet, but I've absorbed enough knowledge by being an English
Oh,
major to
very good.
pretend to have read Hamlet. So no one actually knows if I have or not.
I'm gonna go ahead
Extremely
and say I
powerful.
think you have, because I read it in high school, and that was before majors. So
I did have
don't
a
think-
Shakespeare unit in high school, but
I read a
Never
Shakespeare
mind.
play every year in high school.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
subjecting a bunch of
I was-
13 and 14-year-olds
was-
to Romeo
I
and
was
Juliet
Hamlet
stories.
in Hamlet in our school production, and I still fucked it up, gang. Like,
That's
I can't.
very you.
Again,
compliment.
it just
I believe you have to turn in your theater kid and English kid.
Fully, they're
cards.
coming for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
just can I just turn in character to Volo? Alas, poor Volo.
Oh yes.
Ooh, also, we should name this Gobbo head.
You wanna? Are you
Alright.
getting attached to the goblin head?
Horatio.
More like
Finish the bit.
Goratio.
Horatio.
Horatio.
Horatio is perfect.
Ugh.
It has the word
Alright.
gore in
You've
it.
concluded
We're all in it.
your ritual. which I do think is quite nice, since Morkborg does suggest that Whispers Past the Gate is one of the sacred scrolls, not one of the unclean scrolls. So it makes sense you would have stolen it from whatever priesthood you were a part of, and then turned it for your own purposes. Now that you've used your powers, the many ways lay open before you. You can tell you are in some kind of hedge maze in this garden here, and it does smell altogether more pleasant, even with the mist sort of pouring now from beneath the hedges, than the cave you've left behind. There's this fresh scent in the air, maybe flowers of some kind.
You say it's a hedge maze. Are we inside the maze already, or are we outside the boundaries of it?
You are within the boundaries of it. This fountain seems to be hard to tell if it's the center or not, since you can't see over them. They're quite tall, maybe 15 or 20 feet tall, quite large, and a lot of space between them. But yeah, it's hard to tell if you're in the center or on the edge, but you are definitely surrounded by hedges.
How many openings out of this location into the rest of the maze?
As far as you see, looks to be 3 around you.
Which route should we take?
Seems strong. Just climb over the top and find out where we're supposed to be going. It's just a maze, after all.
Many arteries to the same end. I don't know if it matters.
Since you don't, the sun doesn't exist in the same place in the sky as you would expect. It's almost directly overhead. All of you, you can pick a direction, but there aren't really shadows cast that tell you north or south, if those directions do exist in here. So between 1, 2, and 3, which way do you go?
Roll a 1d3.
We split the party.
No.
Let's do it. I'll do it 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
right now.
I'd be super down to do it. I'm not even joking.
1.
Volo goes alone.
1. All right.
I would. Don't threaten me with a good
Goodbye.
time.
Qatar is gonna drag you by the neck. Come on.
Volo would be like, going that way, I think that's a ridiculous decision. And then start walking the other direction to be grabbed by pulled along. Okay.
The day I let you make decisions is the day I no longer breathe.
You begin to walk through these corridors of hedge with the grass underfoot. The smell is still altogether pleasant, but you maybe have to lean away a little bit from the edge of the hedges, since they do seem to be grown over with thorns as you quickly leave the Fountain of Lesser Youth behind you. They open up to the left and right, and you see a series of small reflective pools with flowers growing out of them. You see cattails just sort of waving in a non-existent breeze, passing forward, and these trees sort of hanging down over them with long stalks, what seem to be pussy willows.
I would like to harvest some of these plants that probably don't exist anywhere else that we've been to before.
Okay, you harvest some cattails and some pussy willow leaves.
Nice.
I appreciate the plant names, by the way. Or
Yeah, that's very good, yeah.
You move forward a little bit and you see another patch of kitten tails.
These
I love it.
pools, are they just big enough to fit the plants, or is there like enough to like put your hand in?
They are sort of deeper pools, not puddles by any means. You could put your hand in where the plants are growing out of.
If I can, Volo like tries to put his hand in like as far as it can go, in an effort to find some type of. Matt is thinking like, maybe there's like a swimming, like a underwater like cave or something. Volo's probably just doing it for to see if there's anything at the bottom, like a jewel or something.
All right, let's take. Give me a test of presence against 6.
I would love to do that. That's a 1.
Oh.
A critical one.
It is.
And-
Okay, the impulsive part of me makes me not want to use an omen, but the intelligent part of me is saying you should probably negate that one and not fumble. I'm not going to do
Let
the
me
reroll,
know.
but could I do the not? Actually, no. I'm not going to use the omens. Not for this.
No.
Let's just go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds more fun.
What is in your inventory?
As in equipment
Oh, I
wise.
can look, can't I? Yes. Anything that's in. I think I can look at your inventory on